the outline. Okay. So if you have been here on June 7, we did cover the information that is here. Oh, why this is moving? Okay. We did cover this information, explanation about filters, single filters. We discussed about Butterworth, Lincoln-Riley, Basil with rectification as simple filters with single slope, and then complex slope filters that are the Chebyshev family and the elliptic filters. We learn about the group delay that filters produce, and we view the group delay as phase in modern analyzers. We finish discussing the input response of the different slopes of filters and compare Butterworth, Lincoln-Riley, and Basil. So the topics for today, it is doing interaction of filters. So we will take measurements in electrical domain of high pass combined to a low pass. Still in this presentation, there is no single speaker. So this is not microphone being used, it's just electrical signal being measured. And we will take combination of filters, high pass, low pass, from the families Butterworth, Lincoln-Riley, Basil, and Basil with normalization. And we will do comparisons from 6 dB per octave slope to 48 dB per octave slope. We will compare phase and group delay. With this, we will discover that some of the combinations are good and some of the combinations may produce cancellations or very bad summation at what is the crossover zone. We will learn about the bandwidth of the zone summation, and we will finish doing examples of how the phase or group delay looks in a two-way system, three-way system, or four-way system. And in the next month, we will complete these presentations with this session 3. In the session 3, we will add filters to transducers. So we will take a two-way cabinet without amplification, without processing. We'll measure the transducer raw without any electronics, just with the amplifier. We will learn about the directivity of transducers. We will learn about sensitivity of speakers, voltage gain of the amplifier, and we will introduce the electronic filters to do the speaker alignment. We will do speakers alignments with different frequencies as crossover point in order to show the comparison of measurements on axis and off axis. We will learn with this that this is only a very, very narrow range of crossover area that is appropriate to produce smooth response from the on axis to the off axis. We will do alignment according to the use of slope of the filter. We will do alignment according to the electronic delay used, and we will do alignment according to a special circuit called all pass. And lastly, we will show what happens when the phase alignment it's matching the angle of the phase graphic or is not matching the angle of the phase graphic, and we play with gains in different bands in order to see what happens to the final adjustment. So you have seen right now the outline and for this presentation and the next presentation. So let me recall the presentation of today. And as Gavin recommended, if you can have in your display the option full screen, you can maximize and view all the details of the graphics. This is a lot of information in these graphics that we will see, and you just have to go out from full screen when you want to view chats or enter into the questions and answers. So let's start. The first thing is to define what is the crossover point, and crossover point is where the high pass and the low pass intersect, where they crosses. And what we want to know about crossover points is that in this example, the gain in the low pass and the gain in the high pass, it's 0 decibels. They are at 0 decibels. But it's very interesting because even when the gain is the same, and in this example we are using Lincoln-Riley fourth order, and they are being at 1K, so they have same phase, and this is the crossover point. If for some reason I play with the gain in one of the bands, in this example let me have 6 dB more gain in the lows, just doing this without changing the parameter of the cutoff frequency of the low pass, just by playing gain, the crossover point shift up. Right now, from being 1000 Hz, right now we are in around 1200 Hz by playing with gain. If the gain in the low band reduce, in this example it is minus 6 dB, the crossover point shift down to around 850 Hz. So this is the new crossover point. Playing way gains affect crossover point, and this is something that you have to keep in mind, especially for session 3. In this example, the gain in the lows is 0, but the gain in the highs is plus 6. So increasing the gains in the highs bring down the crossover point. On the other hand, reducing the gains in the highs bring the crossover point up. So let's see simultaneously the two examples. In the upper example, the highs remain at 0 dB gain and the lows are increased. In the lower example, the lows are at 0 dB gain and the highs are bring down. In these examples, the lows increase 6 dB and the highs in the other one reduce 6 dB. The crossover point, as you can see, is exactly identical. It's around 1200. And doing the opposite, in the upper graphic, the lows reduce 6 dB while the highs remains at 0. And in the bottom graphic, the lows is at 0 and the highs increase 6 dB. And the new crossover point is around 850. So very important to take in count. And the trick here is to realize the crossover point always moves in the direction of the band that exhibit less gain. So in the upper example, this is less gain in the lower, so this is the crossover point shift to the lower. In the lower example, the level it's lower in the low band, so the crossover point moves to the low part. So having explained about level changes, let's start with this. We will cover from 6 decibel per octave or first order, then we will do second order, and we will continue third, fourth until order number 8. The majority of the processors that you can use may have order number 1, 2, 3, 4, and few of them can jump to order number 8. I have seen some processors that can do order 1, 2, 3, 4, then 6, and then 8, and very few processors can do order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What I will show you is all the orders from 1 to 8, so we will have a completely clear understanding in all the possibilities. We will learn using Butterworth filters, and after doing this with Butterworth filters, we will do with Lincoln-Riley, and after Lincoln-Riley with Basil, and after Basil with normalization. So be prepared. I hope that you don't have any confusion or any headache, because this is a lot of graphics. I guess that the total number of graphics will be a big number. It's 112 graphics. So let's go. And the sequence will be like this. In the upper screen will be the amplitude response, or as we call, we will have we call frequency response. In the bottom screen, we will have in some of the graphics phase. In some of the graphics, we will have group delay, and we will have another graphics where we will have the summation of the low pass and the high pass. So let's start. This is the frequency response, and you can see Butterworth. We recognize it's Butterworth because they blend at minus 3 dB. So, and the crossover point here is 1K. And this is 6 decibel per octave filters. And then this is the phase. And in the phase, we can see, as we learned from the previous presentation, 45 degree of phase shift in the high pass. And we can see in the low pass, 45 degree of phase shift in other area of the phase display. The total deviation of phase is 90 degree. So right now they are 90 degree out of phase. But most important, they have the same phase slope. So the graphics are identical in the slope. Being identical in the slope means that they have identical group delay. You can see that the time delay per frequency overlap in the two graphics. So this means they are having the same delay. But even when they have the same delay, they are not phase aligned. They have 90 degree difference. What happens when they have 90 degree difference? With 90 degree difference, the maximum capacity of summation at the crossover point is just 3 decibels. So this means that from the crossover point being minus 3, after adding 3 decibels, the final response will be a flat graphic. So when we combine first order filters with identical polarity, the result will be flat if they are having the same crossover point and we are in the Butterworth family. But what happens if we flip polarity in one band? Then what we see is that the low band right now is being shown as red color. The low pass changes the polarity, and after changing the polarity, it jumps from being in this area to being in this area. So what used to be in 45 degree here, after 180 degree shift at all frequencies, you can see here is at 135 here. So from 45 to 135, this is 90 degree phase shift still. And we have still the same phase slope. Remember that a polarity change do not change the group delay. So we can see that group delay remains the same. It's the same group delay as before. And something fantastic is that even when this polarity change, the final response is still flat. So we can have positive polarity or we can have negative polarity. And in both conditions, we have always 90 degree apart at crossover point. So because of this, this is a situation of win-win. Any polarity produce a flat graphic. Bad news is that the summation that we can collect is not 6 decibels, that is the best goal, but it's only 3 decibels. In the next example, we will jump to second order. In a second order filter combination, we can see we are still at 1K minus 3 dB because of course this is Butterworth, and what used to be in the high pass 45 degree right now is 90. What used to be in the low pass 45 degree right now is 90. So the slope is still the same, but it's more slope, more tilt compared to before. So this means that the group delay compared to before that used to be around here practically duplicate in time. So group delay, it's identical between the two bands and it's the same. On the other hand, something that we can see is that we have relative phase difference between the bands 180 degree. The consequence of having 180 degree when they have same polarity as a difference is that at the crossover point they will have a cancel. We can see the cancel and the crossover point because 180 degree phase shift means minus infinite summation, so crossover point it is cancel. What happens when we do a polarity inversion? With a polarity inversion, the 180 degree difference, relative difference between bands, becomes 0 degree difference. 0 degree difference will mean that the signal will have 6 dB summation. Anyway, even with this polarity reversal, the group delay, it is the same group delay, because, I repeat again, a polarity change is not changing group delay. So because 0 degree relative phase difference is 6 decibel summation, from minus 3 dB after 6 dB summation we finish with a graphic with a bump of 3 dB, and you can see there is pretty big bandwidth in this bump. Let's jump to order number 3. In order number 3, the high pass will show more phase shift, in this case 135, and the low pass is showing 135 in the other area of the phase display. So we have 270 degree phase shift, but again with the same phase slope. So this means that because the phase slope has more tilt, the group delay increase. We have more phase delay. By the way, I have not mentioned that the range of time in the group delay graphic, it is from 0 milliseconds in the center to 0.5 milliseconds in the top. In this case, this 0.5 milliseconds, in reality, it is written here as 500 microseconds. 500 microseconds is 0.5 milliseconds. So we can see the group delay, it is the same, more group delay because we are using higher order. So the 270 degree difference means that the summation between this combination, it is 3 decibels. So from minus 3 we go flat. This is flat response again. Doing a polarity change in one of the bands makes that what used to be here shift 180 and is here, and we have 90 degree phase difference. The 90 degree phase difference, as you can see, will make again 3 decibels, and they remain the same slope, they remain the same group delay. So you can see here that this 90 degree produces still 3 dB, and the result is again flat. If we remember, with order number 1, positive or negative polarity combination give a flat result. In order number 3, positive and negative polarity combination give the result flat. Let's go to order number 4. Order number 4 makes that the high pass shift 180 and the low pass shift 180. And because both shift 180, they overlap in phase, so the relative phase difference, it is 0 degree. 0 degree means that they are aligned, and then we expect that they will have 6 decibel summation. So in this case, the group delay will increase. Because the group delay increase with the other range will be outside of this window, right now I rescale this graphic. And in this graphic you can see that we have 1 millisecond is here, so the 500 microseconds or 0.5 milliseconds is here, so we are having 0.5 milliseconds when we have fourth order, and the chord of frequency is 1K. So group delay is the same, phase is the same, so we expect 6 decibel summation, and 6 decibel summation makes that this situation grow from -3 to +3. So again we have a bump, but this bump is not as wide as when we was using second order. In this situation, having a polarity change will have a shift in the phase graphic of 180 degrees. The group delay will remain the same, but the 180 degree phase will produce a cancel. In this case, the width of the cancel is a little bit more narrow compared to the situation in second order. So in second order, the situation that produced summation was having opposite polarity in bands. But in fourth order, the situation that produced summation requires identical polarity in both bands. Let's go to order number 6. In order number 6, the relative phase deviation between the bands is 270 degrees. So 270 degrees, and this means more group delay. Right now the group delay, it is close to 0.7 milliseconds. Here you can see, and the 270 degree means that the summation at the crossover point, it is 3 decibels. So the final summation, it is flat. Doing a polarity inversion will make that the 270 transform in 90 degree. So group delay remains the same, and then the 90 degree produce 3 decibel summation. So this is again a situation when the final result it is flat. Then let's go to order number 6. In order number 6, the phase difference when they have same polarity is 180 degree. So, and the slope is more tilt, so this means that the group delay is even bigger compared to the previous examples. Because we have 180 degree relative phase difference, 180 degree produce this cancel. So this cancel is more narrow in bandwidth compared to order number 2 and order number 4. If we do a polarity inversion in this exercise, the polarity inversion produces 0 degree phase difference. The group delay remains the same, and 0 degree phase difference produces 6 decibel summation, so we can see again the bump at 1K. In this case, the width of the bump is more narrow. The higher the order, the width of the bump or the width of the cancel will be more narrow. Let's jump into order number 7. In order number 7, the phase slope tilt is more dramatic. You can see here 90 degree relative phase difference. We can see that the group delay increase. Again, we have to rescale the time range in the group delay graphics. Right now the top is 2 milliseconds group delay, and you can see the group delay it's more than before. And because we have 90 degree phase shift, 90 degree produce 3 decibel summation, the 3 decibel summation brings the response to flat. Doing a polarity inversion makes the phase difference still 90 degree, still the same group delay, and because of this still 3 decibel summation, so the response is flat. With order number 7, we have the same situation as order number 1, number 3, number 5. So order 1, 3, 5, and 7, they are having always flat response because they will be always 90 degree or the reciprocal 270 degree phase shift. Let's go to order number 8. In order number 8, the high pass shift 360 degree and the low pass shift 360 degree. Because the 360 degree phase shift in two bands is identical, the relative phase difference it is the same. Both bands have the same slope. The situation with more slope means more group delay. So we have greater group delay because this is order number 8, and because they have 0 degree relative difference, they will have 6 decibel summation. In this new example, the bandwidth of the summation is more narrow. A polarity inversion, as you are figure out, it's 180 degree relative difference, and while the group delay remains the same, the 180 degree is producing a cancel. This is the cancel at the crossover point, and this cancel is more narrow. So then, if we remember, order number 2 and order number 6 require polarity inversion to produce the summation, and order number 2 and order number 8 require same polarity to produce this summation. We finished Butterworth. This explanation has been pretty long, so what I will do for Lincoln-Riley, Basil, and Basil with normalization, I will compress the information and I will have practically all together in the same graphic. So let's start with Lincoln-Riley, and right now in Lincoln-Riley I am including the summation immediately, so we will do more rapid presentation. And in the Lincoln-Riley we start with second order. If you remember for the presentation last month, Lincoln-Riley is created by having two Butterworth, identical Butterworth filters in series. So because Butterworth cut -3, 2 times -3 produce the -6 dB at the crossover point that is having Lincoln-Riley. And because having in series two filters means that the slope duplicate. So two Butterworth first order produce a Lincoln-Riley second order. So in Lincoln-Riley, what we will see is even orders, order number 2, 4, 6, and 8. Let's start with second order same polarity. second order same polarity, as well as in Butterworth, produce 180-degree relative phase difference. That means cancellation. So you can see the combination of high pass and low pass, it's cancellation, and it's really wide cancel. Changing polarity in one of the bands produce 0-degree phase difference, and the 0-degree phase difference means 6 decibel summation. So from minus 6 dB we go to flat response. You can see the difference between the Butterworth and Lincoln-Riley is that while in Butterworth the summation produced a bump of 3 dB, in Lincoln-Riley produced a flat response. Lincoln-Riley order number 4 makes that both graphics have 180-degree phase shift, so the relative phase difference is 0, 6 decibel summation this means, so from minus 6 we go to flat. And doing a polarity inversion means that we have 180-degree relative difference, that means minus infinite, so this produces a cancel. Order number 6 produce 180-degree difference again, minus infinite, so order number 6 produce cancels when they have identical polarity, but changing polarity in one band produce 0-degree phase difference with order number 6, so the 0-degree phase difference produce 6 decibel summation, and again we have a flat response. Order number 8 makes a full cycle of delay in the high pass and a full cycle of delay in the low pass. So this means that the 0-degree phase difference means 6 decibel summation, and we go back to flat. So in the situation of Lincoln-Riley, to get flat, you need in the order number 2 and in the order number 6 a polarity change in one band. But in the order number 4 and in the order number 8, you need to have identical polarity in bands. Let's go to Basil. In the case of Basil filters, we will see a more complicated situation. In the Basil filters, as we remember from the previous presentation, they cut at minus 3, but in the Basil filters, the decibel per octave do not match with our expectation. So let's see what is the consequence of this. Basil order number 1, by the way, is identical to Butterworth order number 1. So this means that Basil order 1 shift 90 degree, and because this is 3 decibel summation, from minus 3 dB we go to flat. Flipping polarity, still flip 90 degree, and this is still plus 3 dB, and this is still flat. It's the same situation as Butterworth order number 1. But Basil order number 2 makes that the relative phase difference between the high pass and the low pass, it is 150 degree. 150 degree means that we will obtain minus 6 dB when combined. So from minus 3 after minus 6, this is minus 9 dB. So this is the combination of the second order Basil, same polarity, but when we flip polarity, the relative phase deviation is 30 degree. That is practically 6 dB summation, is 5.7. So then this will make that the summation goes from minus 3 to plus 3, similar to Butterworth in order number 2 and polarity inversion. Basil order number 3 produce a phase deviation of 198 degree. 198 degree means minus 10 decibels. So this means that in the crossover point minus 3, if we take out minus 10, the total summation, it is minus 13 dB. So this is what happens with Basil order 3 with identical polarity. Basil number 3 with opposite polarity brings just 18 degree phase difference. 18 degree phase difference is 5.9 or 5.8 summation, so it's practically 6 dB. So from the minus 3 we get plus 3. Basil number 4 produce 240 degree relative phase difference. 240 degree relative phase difference produce 0 decibel summation, and this means that the combination stays at minus 3. Doing a polarity inversion of this situation transform the 240 degree into 60 degree. 60 degree is 5 decibel summation, so from the -3 we jump into +2. Order number 5 means that the relative phase difference is 270 degree. 270 degree is +3. So the summation will go from -3 to +3. But pay attention because the graphic is not flat. You can see that while here this is 0, this is more than 0, and this is more than 0. And when we flip polarity, we can see 90-degree phase shift. 90-degree phase shift is still +3. So from -3 to +3 is 0, but it's not flat. You can see this decay here and this decay here. Order number 6 makes that the relative phase difference is 300 degree. 300 degree means +5. So from -3 we get +2. Changing polarity in order number 6 produce a relative phase difference of 120 degree. That means 0. So the crossover point stays at -3, but surrounding this you have area that goes to -6. Order number 7 produce 340 degree relative phase difference. This is practically +6, is 5.8 approximately. So from -3 we jump to +3. Changing polarity produce 160 degree relative phase difference. That means -9 dB. So from -3 we get -12. -3 after -9 is -12. The last one in this family is order number 8. With order number 8, both bands is 180 degree shift. So right now the relative phase deviation is 0 degree. So from -3 we jump to +3. And a polarity inversion, of course, that produces 180 degree difference deviation. So this 180 degree produce a cancel in the crossover point. The variation of the vessel that was described by an engineer in 1997 or 1998, Ray Miller described this, makes that the vessel will change the cutoff frequency according to the order. So let's see the vessel. The vessel with normalization with order number 1 actually is the same as Butterworth and is the same as the standard vessel. So this is -3, 90 degree different, goes flat. With order number 2, this is still 90 degree, and when have 3 dB summation, goes flat. Then if we go to second order, the vessel second order with normalization cut at -4.5. So but we have 180 degree difference, this produces a cancel. Having a polarity inversion in the vessel with normalization produce 0 degree phase difference, so this means 6 decibel summation. 6 decibel summation from the -4.5 means 1.5 dB bump. Order number 3 produce 270 degree phase shift, and order number 3 cuts at -6. So from the -6 after 3 dB summation we get -3. Doing a polarity inversion, it's 90 degree phase difference, so 3 decibel summation. From -6 after +3 is a graphic of -3. Order number 4 produce 0 degree phase difference because both bands are having 180 degree phase shift. But order number 6 is 7.5 dB in the crossover point, so after 6 dB summation it stays in -1.5. A polarity inversion produces 180 degree phase difference, this produces cancel. Order number 5 produce a crossover point at -9, and the relative phase difference is 270, so this is 3 decibel summation. From -9 we stop at -6. A polarity inversion transforms the 270 in 90 degree. And 90 degree again is +3, so from -9 we stop at -6. Order number 6 produces 180 degree relative phase difference, but order number 6 is 10.5 dB at the crossover point. 10.5 dB after minus infinite is still cancelled. Having a polarity inversion makes that the phase matches, so this is 0 degree relative phase. We will have, oh, look at this. I have an error in this graphic. Basil order number 6, I will fix it. Let me take a note. 6 order Basil normalized must be correct in this label. This label must read plus 6. And plus 6 means that from minus 10.5 we stop in minus 4.5. Order number 7 is 90 degree phase shift, and 90 degree phase shift produce plus 3. But order number 7 is minus 12 dB summation, so from minus 12 we stop at minus 9. Polarity change produce 90 degree still, and this 90 degree, it is 3 decibel summation. From minus 12 we finish at minus 9. The last one is order number 8. Order number 8 produce one cycle of phase delay, 360 degree here and 360 degree here. So this is 0 degree relative phase difference, that means 6 decibel summation, but order number 8 in Basil with normalization is minus 13.5. After 6 decibel summation, it is minus 7.5. Changing polarity in one band produces 180 degree, and this means cancel. I know that all this information is a massive amount of information, so to make it simple, we have a chart here. This chart explains the combination from 6 decibel to 48 decibels with identical polarity or with opposite polarity for Butterworth. So you can see Butterworth, let's say Butterworth order 4 with same polarity produce 3 dB burst. Yes, that's right. We know that Butterworth order 3 with any polarity goes flat. So this chart summarizes what we have seen. This is the one for Butterworth. This one is for Linkous-Riley. In the Linkous-Riley, we know that this is only even orders. So the odd orders are being shown as black because this is no option for Linkous-Riley doing this. And you can see that in Linkous-Riley, the order number 4 and the order number 8 with same polarity produce flat, and with order number 3 and with order number 6 we need opposite polarity to produce flat. In the case of Basil, standard Basil, we can see that Basil order number 4 produce 240 degree here, so the response is minus 3. And if we change polarity, produce 60 degree, that brings a 2 dB burst. This is the combination of Basil, and this is the combination for Basil with normalization. So with Basil with normalization, I remember that the order number 3 is the one that cut at minus 6 dB, and because the summation is 3 dB, it is minus 3 dB cut always. So this chart summarizes all the different possibilities when we combine in an electrical domain without entering into transducers two identical filters. In the session 3, we will see situations when the filters across speakers, they may not be identical. In session number 3, something that we may do is combine a Butterworth with a Linkous-Riley or a Basil with a Butterworth, and we may have a second order versus fourth order or third order versus fifth order, any possibility for doing the alignment. So let's discuss about the crossover zone, and the crossover zone is the area where the two bands may produce summation or may produce cancel. So in this example, I am showing with Linkous-Riley, or sorry, this is minus 3. With Butterworth, order number 2, low pass and high pass. Order number 2, you can see high pass and low pass. This is for order number 6, high pass and low pass. And order number 8, high pass and low pass. What does this means with crossover zone? Okay, let's first establish that the crossover zone, if we separate these combinations, is wider with lower order. This is the crossover zone, and basically what we are comparing is 12 decibels of relative difference between bands. You can see in the scale this is 0 and this is minus 12. So this is 12 decibel relative difference. Why we are using 12 decibels relative difference? Because 12 decibels means that if you have summation, it's the same as in linear 1 plus 0.25. This means plus 2 decibels of summation. That is pretty weak summation. And if you have cancel, it is 1 minus 0.25. That it means 0.75. 0.75, it's around minus 2 decibels. So this means that the deviation from summation of or attenuation is from plus 2 to minus 2. That is pretty weak in both sides. So this is the philosophy to define the crossover zone. So in second order, we have a wider crossover zone. In fourth order, the isolation occurs more rapidly, so this is more narrow. In sixth order, the isolations occur more rapid, and in eighth order, produce even more rapid. So you can see more crossover zone with lower order, less crossover zone with higher order. So let's see what happens in the case of summations. This is the width of summation, blue color, with second order when everything is good, fourth order in red color, sixth order in green color, and eighth order in brown color. And in the case of cancels, it's similar. The wider cancel is when everything is wrong, and this is second order. The red is fourth order, the green is sixth order, and the orange is eighth order. If we play them both together, you can see that this is the width where we can see the range of summation or range of cancel with second order. In this example is 4 octaves of interaction, 4 octaves of summation or cancel. In the fourth order, the area from going from 0 to the plus 3 go back to 0, or from 0 to the cancel is 2.2 octaves. With sixth order, this is 1.4 octaves, and with eighth order is 1.2 octaves. We can say that if we are good for doing summation, so if we are good for doing phase align, using lower orders will provide wider range of summation. But if we are doing wrong, using higher orders will make that the width of the cancel will not be as dramatic as with lower orders. So let's see. Right now, this is the last part, and let's see how it looks as phase and as group delay. Examples of a two-way system, three-way system, and a four-way system. And in the case of two-way system, we are using 1K, and in blue color we will choose second order, in red color we will choose fourth order, in green color we will choose sixth order, and in brown color we choose eighth order. You can see that the second order produces less phase deviation, the fourth order produces more phase deviation, the sixth order produces even more phase shift, and the eighth order is the one that produces more dramatic phase shift. This, of course, if we view as group delay, shows that the eighth order produces the more dramatic phase shift, and the second order produces the more the minimal phase shift in these comparisons. This is what you can expect in a two-way system. Well, let's say 1K. Typically, a two-way system is having the crossover point between 800 Hz to around 4K, because typically this is for a two-way speaker that can be used for front field or can be used as a floor monitor or a small PA system. This is a three-way system, and for make it simple, I am using 100 Hz and 1K at crossover points. And same philosophy, second order, blue color, fourth order, red color, 6th order, this is a green color, and 8th order is brown color. You can see that the 2nd order shows less phase shift. 4th order produce more phase shift. 6th order produce even more phase shift. And the 8th order is the one that produces the more dramatical phase shift in the graphic. And in terms of group delay, the one with higher order produce more phase shift. This is the group delay of the crossover point at 1K, and this is the group delay of the crossover point at 100 Hertz. In this one, the order number 8 is the one that shows larger time, and in this one, the order number 8 is the one that shows the larger time. The one with minimal group delay is the 2nd order in these examples. It's very important that you understand that if we plan to combine two different speaker cabinets, and let's say that one speaker cabinet is having a 2nd order filters, another speaker cabinet is using 4th order filters, the relative phase difference between the speakers cabinet will make that some portions of the frequency range may be cancelled when we combine the two speakers. So this will be very very bad situation, because for the mixer guy, he will suffer trying to equalize what is not possible to equalize, because this is group delay differences. So let's see a 4-way system. In this case, I am shifting to 60, 500, and 4K. So the idea is that the bandwidth from here to here is similar to the bandwidth from here to here, and 60 Hertz, 504K, 2nd order blue color, 4th order red color, 6th order green color, and 8th order brown color. The system 3-way with 2nd order shows the blue phase shift that it's the smallest of all. And if we go to 4th order, you can see phase shift here, more phase shift, more phase shift, and more phase shift. 6th order, more, a lot of phase shift in the graphic, and the 8th order is kind of zigzag graphic with a lot of phase shift. So with this presentation, this is the last slide. We are sorry, and this is the group delay. This is the very last slide. In group delay, we can see, well, in 4K, because this scale range, you can see the group delay at 60 Hertz in the 8th order is 24 milliseconds. 24 milliseconds with order number 8, and with order number 4 is around 8 milliseconds, and with order number 2 it is around 3 milliseconds at 60 Hertz. And this is the group delay produced by the crossover point of 500, and the group delay at 4K it's around here, but we don't have enough range. We need to increase the range here in order to zoom in to see what is the group delay in this range. So higher the order means higher the group delay. With this, we are practically prepared to understand the last part of the presentation, that actually is the goal of this series of presentations, to play filters across speakers in order to understand the consequences of anything we do for the speaker alignment. So if we have questions, we are ready for questions. We still have, well, to complete the hour, 3 minutes, but we can extend around 15 minutes. If you don't have questions, well, we want to thank you, everybody, to give us the opportunity and spend your time with us.
Okay. Well, as Mauricio said, thank you for joining us. If you have any questions, I see there is some typing taking place in the chat window. There's also the Q&A window to enter any questions you have. So we'll stand by for a second.
And by the way, just in case you are thinking about all this information. Gavin is recording the information, and I don't know, maybe it will take 2 or 3 weeks for Gavin to have this ready in the server. Gavin, can you explain them how to access this information, please?
If you go to the Meyerson website, under the education section, if you go to the front page of the Meyerson website, there's an education button, which obviously you found in that you've registered for these webinars. But there's a section called webinars, and there is a button that you can access archived webinars. So you just go to the webinar section of the education part of the Meyerson website, and there you will need to have a map online password, username and password to access these. But um, if you enter your map online username and password, you can access all the archived webinars. So if you have any questions or any difficulties accessing that, please send me an email, but it should be fairly straight ahead.
Okay, Gavin, I can see a question from Freddy. Freddy is asking about FIR filters, finite impulse response filters. So, finite impulse response filters, it's something very simple. If we may use in 8 order filter system, how do I delete this line? Let me see, because okay, maybe I have to do this. Oh no, oh yes, this is what I need, but this is an eraser. No, oh, Gavin, this is the first time that I try to use this, so I have no idea how to do here. Oh,
There's an
selection.
eraser
Yeah,
button, yeah.
okay.
Delete selected.
Okay,
Yeah.
I learn. And okay, Freddy, if we may using a processor with FIR filters, this processor is using the different crossover points, then the group delay of this one, oh, again, I am doing something wrong because I want to do a straight line. How do I select a straight line here? Pencil. Okay. Maybe I have to do this. No. Okay, well, no. It's difficult to me to do this straight line. Let me see if this is a tool for doing straight line. What is this? This is a rectangle. Okay, maybe this one will work. Okay, okay, okay. This thing that I draw here will be the latency of a processor with FIR filters. 24 millisecond latency if you want to use your filter around 60 Hertz. So the difference between standard IIR filters, infinite impulse response, that is all the filters that you may use, and the FIR filters is FIR filters do not produce group delay. The FIR filters are kind of a democratic delay system because they delay all frequencies to the same amount of time as the frequency that may exhibit the longest time. So this means that, let me do this one, this line is the total latency. If we're using in this example the 6th order, this one will be the total latency if we may using the 4th order, and this one will be the total latency in the system if we may using the 2nd order. So FIR filters are, let's say, latency machines, is what they are. The machine that I have seen, some of them use an expression called taps, and taps is samples. So you define the latency according to samples. Some of them goes in steps of 50 taps, so this is mean 50 samples. And if you don't have the required number of samples to get the latency to produce the filter that you're looking for, it's not possible to do. Let's say if you are using an FIR filter and you are trying to use a filter at 60 Hertz and you don't tell to the processor to have 24 millisecond latency, it will be impossible to set your filter at 60 Hz. Maybe if your latency is only at 60 Hz, if you are using 8 order, maybe you can have your filter at 60 Hz with less than 8 order. If your latency, let's say, is 1 millisecond, the latency of the taps or the compensation delay as in Lake, the lowest frequency using 8 order will be 1K, but you can go to 500 Hz if you reduce the order to the half. So that is the situation with the FIR filters. You don't have to concern about all these phase graphics that I have explained, but you have to be careful with the latency. Questions and answer. Oh, the questions and answer window again. So for electronic serial line, which processor have? Oh, which processor have FIR filters? Well, the most famous of the processor with FIR filters is Lake. The other most famous is Silica. I have seen processors from one that is new one from Electro Voice is having FIR filters. It's a lot of software with FIR filters, and I have seen processors made in Spain, processors made in Portugal with FIR filters. Okay, Freddy says people say that FIR filters doesn't change the phase. Okay, FIR filters is not changing the phase because remember phase is time delay. In this case is group delay. So the trick for FIR filters is that they already pre-delay everything. So because everything is pre-delay, when you use the filter you don't see that you are having delay. It's doing a kind of, from a maximum possible delay, is subtracting in the frequencies that will produce the delay, so everybody will have the same thing. So very important, be careful with your latency. Latency is not a big deal if you are in a big concert, let's say in an stadium size concert. If you have 30 milliseconds additional latency for Rolling Stones, it's no big deal. But if you are in a small theater, 300 seats, 30 milliseconds latency in the PA, it's a problem. If you are having what is floor monitors, 30 millisecond latency may be a problem. The good news is that most of the processors that are FIR, they have a window that allows you to select the maximum latency. So for a floor monitor, surely you will use your crossover point around 1K. So then you can select a latency additional to the original latency of around another millisecond, so you can have 48 dB filter in the boundaries of 1K. And we are not having any documentation with FIR filters. Maybe in the future. Actually, this is the second time that somebody asked about FIR filters. In the presentation one, somebody asked about this, and right now in this second presentation, so this will give us the clue to start to prepare FIR filter presentation. For a normal three-way cabinet, which filter type and order will you recommend for a smooth response? If you are talking about the frequency response, a smooth response is not related to the order of the filter. A smooth response is related to phase alignment. To have proper phase alignment in order to have good summation and have a smooth response. And if you are asking about phase graphic to be very smooth phase without so much phase change, lower order. Of course that if you are trying to use 6 decibel filter order, it's not good idea because you are not protecting your speakers. So the minimal order may be second or third order. Most of the people play fourth order. Fourth order produce some sort of phase shift that when you see with the analyzer, some people don't like to see all this phase shift. So using this, the advantage of FIR filters is that they can have very nice phase graphics, but with the price of latency. And latency sometimes is important, sometimes is not important. You are the ones that must evaluate when latency may be an issue, when latency may not be an issue. Okay, so let's select all these and delete. Okay, seems that everything is done. So, thanks everybody again, and we invite you for the third part that will be in the next